This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, every can's a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh, boy. Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
That's a bunch of malarkey!
You don't know nothing.
I'm confident that we'll be world champions. That's what I've said right from the start, and I'm still confident of that.
You know, sometimes when you practice, you'll set up chairs. You know, and you run through chairs just to show zones and stuff. The Viking defense looks like it's chairs. All the defensive backs covering are just atrocious today for the Minnesota Vikings.
We don't go on all that. Next question.
Okay. NFL's nothing but a racket. What do you think of the Lions now?
Yeah, I always love that one.
You're breaking up, Bob.
You're breaking up.
And that's ridiculous.
A dog with a note in his mouth should be able to sell those ratings.
I've seen enough out of Cousins, Paul. Put him on ice.
That's interesting.
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
Jet lag disadvantage.
That's interesting.
Nuts and bolts, we got screwed.
That's interesting.
Time for two more questions, guys.
That's interesting.
Super Bowl, homeboy.
I'm unlimited, Mr. Unlimited. I'm a fraud.
Yes.
You like that? You like that?
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
And what promises to be a fast-paced, action-packed, controversial common man program begins in 5. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. 2, 1. Greetings, good afternoon. Ack-ack-a-dack. In Dak-Dak-a-ack, your password for tomfoolery and skullduggery. So much to get to and so little time to do it in. We don't even miss Fee. We don't miss a beat without Fee. No, her name's... We don't miss a beat without Fee. Carlos Correa, who? Duran, who? Bader, who? Stewart, who? Colomb, who? Varland, who? France, who? Jax, who? Castro, who? Chris Paddock, who? Who needs them? Twins win. Twins win. This team is starting to catch on with me. Soon to be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings continue to practice. They've just released the 10 best players on offense and defense at each position. How many Vikings were included on those lists? So much to get to. Where do we start? Let's spin the wheel of topic.
Wheel of topic.
How it lands on feet.
Commons golf game.
I did get out to play today.
What'd you shoot today?
You say that again?
Have him say it again.
What'd you shoot today? What'd you shoot today?
88.
Where'd we play?
Legends Club, Prior Lake.
Where'd you hit it on one?
I hit it right up the gut.
How far from the green were you?
I had a 6-iron in my hand.
Second shot?
Flew it over the green.
Then what?
Hit a bad pitch.
Then what?
Made a bogey.
Well, there's that.
It was just I have an emergency lesson with Master Professional Craig Waring when I get off the air. My game is rock bottom again. It's been the craziest year, the most unusual year. I'll play 2 or 3 rounds where I hit the ball beautifully, score, everything's good, and then the next day it looks like I've never swung a club before. And I got a hell of a schedule coming. I'm on vacation, Tennessee, coming up. I've got Rube Golf tomorrow at Fox Hollow, White Bear Lake Yacht Club on Friday, Sunday Deacons, Monday Classic, Tuesday Northland, Wednesday Minnesota National, Thursday Minnesota State AM Senior Qualifier at Minnesota National, and then that afternoon Interlochen.
Lucky.
Yeah. And I can't play.
Your troubles are behind you.
Well, they're behind me, but
your golf troubles aren't.
But if you don't play well, it kind of takes a little bit of the enjoyment out of it, especially for the qualifier. A week from tomorrow, all I want to do is shoot something around 80, and that should get me in. But I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. But emergency lesson with Master Pro, and that's what I'm going to do. Tennessee, are you you like Chinese food? No, you think that's yucky, would be my guess, or not? Do you like Chinese food?
Most international food I don't like.
Yeah.
So I would say no.
So when you say international food, like you don't like...
Most foreign foods, yeah.
You don't like spaghetti?
Well, pasta's the exception.
Oh, okay.
I'm big into pasta.
So you like spaghetti and pizza?
Oh, yeah.
You don't like, what other, I'm trying to think. So you don't like Mexican food?
Mexican, I can eat like the very basics.
You like tacos?
Like I love tacos if it's like meat and cheese, maybe some beans and rice and corn, but
okay.
You can't spice it up.
That's good.
Very plain. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy.
So you've never, Panda Express Chinese Kitchen isn't your cup of tea?
No.
Someone went there recently. There were leftovers here, and they left some fortune cookies. You a fortune cookie guy? Have you ever opened up a fortune cookie?
It's been a while because I don't eat at those establishments very often.
I'm just going to see what my fortune is. Which one do you want? One of them's for you and one of them's for me. Do you want me to read yours first or mine first?
Let's read mine first.
Okay, here it is. This is what your fortune says. It says, happiness is around the corner. Wealth is down the street. Well, when are you resigning? You must be leaving the fam. Because there's no corner in this office where happiness is, and there certainly isn't any wealth.
Is there a new company down the street, apparently, that's going to hire me?
I don't know. That's unfortunate for you. But, I mean, I don't know. You would like that to come true.
Well, yeah. Happiness and wealth sounds good to me.
Yeah, that would be one. They kind of go hand in hand for a lot of people, too. Let's see what mine says. You will shoot 86 at the Minnesota State AM Senior Qualifier. A financial investment will yield returns beyond your hopes. Well, this should have been for Corey Cove. Think about Corey Cove. $1.5 million he's made off.
Oh, and he's only just begun.
And he's only just begun. But I'm just saying, he's already made $1.5 million on his board game. Why didn't I come up with that idea? I have no idea, but I didn't. So there you go, the Panda Express. And when it comes to Chinese food, I'm an egg roll guy. I can eat an egg roll. And I can do some sweet and sour chicken. After that, I'm kind of picky as well. I'm not a huge, yeah. You ever try to eat with chopsticks?
It just seems very unnecessary to me.
Well, yeah.
And a fork works immensely better.
Has the fork not been introduced to people in China yet? I mean, they work if you know how to utilize them. To me, it's about as complicated as playing the piano. I've tried. I have no idea how they do it. And then again, like I guess if you're at a Chinese restaurant and you know how to operate them, I guess it's okay to, kind of, you're sort of in the mood. It's sort of the spirit of it, but I'm with you. I'd rather just take a fork, big fork too, and just slam it in there. And that's the best way to do it. So I don't even know.
My guess is most people don't want to use chopsticks, but they like to say that they use chopsticks.
Yeah. Are there? I mean, I don't know of any other. What did you call it? Ethnic cuisine or what did you call them? Foreign foods? Foreign foods. Where they have a different eating utensil. That's the only place I know. They have chopsticks. Everybody else, as far as I know, uses a fork or a spoon or a knife.
Because it works great. You don't need anything else.
Well, I wouldn't think. But
though my kids, we have a couple of the ones where it's the spoon on one side and the fork on the other side.
We call those sporks. Did you know there's a name for them? They're called sporks.
Well, I thought sporks was when like the spoon and fork was on one end was combined. These are on opposite ends of your utensil.
Oh, where did you find those?
I've
never seen those before.
Yeah.
That's something new to me.
Because my wife and I used to get in a big debate over, I was raised when you were eating peas.
Yeah.
I was just given spoons for those. And then my wife was apparently given forks, and she thinks you have to eat peas with a fork. I'm like, well, they're round. They are made perfectly for the spoon.
Oh, yeah, they roll off the fork. You're supposed to stab them? Is that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, it's too hard to stab every individual piece. So
if you had a big ladle full of peas on your plate and tried to eat them with a fork, you'd starve to death.
I always eat them with a fork now, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she makes fun of me for the spoon. It's not proper. It's not etiquette.
I don't even like peas. I mean, I'll eat them. I mean, it's not like I'm not like you where I'm like you have certain food phobias, you and Cove. I can eat peas, but they're just not my favorite.
I'd say the vast majority of vegetables would go under that category.
Yeah. Well, there are some I really do like.
Really?
I mean, oh yeah. I mean, I can. I like a good asparagus. I like French style cut green beans. I mean, especially if they're fresh. Like my wife she'll roast.
If they're fresh and loaded up with butter and garlic on them?
Well, what she'll do is she'll roast Brussels sprouts or broccoli and put some type of, secret seasonings and sauce on them. Then they're really good. But yeah, just if you get the bird's eye out of the bag, I'm out, man. Just doesn't do a lot for me. No frozen vegetables in lunch today. I think we need a bacon sandwich. You ever have just a plain bacon sandwich?
No.
That's so good.
I mean, it sounds good.
It's really good. That's what I'm going to do. Someone just said, hold on. It says, I'd estimate that we have 30 plus chopsticks in my drawer for my wife. So they do them. Well, if they give them to you at the restaurant, they just go in that junk drawer.
Yeah.
Like when you...
Next to the salt packets?
Yeah. Do you have that drawer where there's salt packets? And also, like, let's say you go to like a Chipotle and they give you a bunch of napkins, and I don't want to waste them, so I just throw them in a drawer. I've got napkins that would last me for 4 years from all the different fast food places that I go to. Let's take a break and come back. We do have plenty to get to today. Peek at the purple on the other side of the break. Brian Oak, Rock Talk at 1:30. The legendary Mark Rosen just before 2. A lot of odds and ends to get to here on the Common Man program. Right here on the Fan.
Vikings football is back. Come find our Mall of America street team each day at Vikings training camp to find out how you can win awesome prizes, including Mall of America mystery cards or tickets to an upcoming Vikings game. Get the full details now at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is 10 to B. This is Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com is the best way to get hold of them if you need electrical work or you're looking for work. Let's say you are an apprentice electrician, or let's say you are a journeyman electrician and you're looking for work. Well, they want you at Affordable Electric. They have openings.
Is Wealth right down the street?
Oh, what's that?
Is Wealth right down the street?
Wealth could be right down the street.
Okay, then
and
this might be a sign for me.
Wealth down the street. What was the other one?
Something around the corner. Happiness is around the corner.
Happiness around you can be happy and create wealth by getting a job at Affordable Electric. They have a simple plan. They have competitive pay. Really terrific benefits. You get a truck, the whole thing. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. And they are shockingly affordable. Maybe if I wore a rubber suit, that wouldn't hurt so much. Tenneby, you were the one that gave me today's material for Peek at the Purple, which is a Monday through Friday bit here on the Fan. And let me dial it up here. It was like a depth chart going into preseason for the Vikings. This is according to Vikings.com. Unofficial depth chart. Vikings versus Texans preseason game. McCarthy's going to start. We established that the other day when the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, Q-Dubs, said that he would start. Aaron Jones, senior, is going to get the nod at running back. Fullback will be C.J. Ham. They're not going to play in the game, though, right? Like it says, wide receiver starter Justin Jefferson.
They're just letting you know their depth chart.
Yeah, their depth chart. I didn't think so. I was going to say, I mean, my gosh, you can't be playing all these guys. Plus, you can't play right now Jefferson because he's still nursing. Is it a hammy? Is that what he's nursing? Strained hamstring? Jefferson?
Yes.
Yes. Jordan Addison will be a wide receiver except for the first 3 games. That news broke yesterday that the National Football League handed down a 3-game suspension for his alcohol-related issue. Hawkinson will be your starting tight end. Left tackle, of course, will be Darrisaw. Donovan Jackson will get the nod. He's the rookie, right?
Yes.
He gets the nod at left guard. Ryan Kelly, newly acquired free agent, will play center. Another free agent, Will Fries, will be our guard. And Brian O'Neill, a good friend of the Grum, he will be your starting right tackle. Defensively, your starters on the D-line, again, 2 players that were just recently acquired during the offseason via free agency. Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, Harrison Phillips will be the other. Outside linebackers tend to be Grenard, Jonathan Moore is required, Grenard, and Andy Van Ginkel. We like to call him Gink. Your inside linebackers will be Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace Jr., cornerback Brian Murphy Jr. on one side, Isaiah Rodgers on the other.
Byron.
Oh, did I say Brian? I meant Byron. Safety will be Harrison Smith along with Josh Metella. So, of course, Josh is sort of the modern-day version of monster back. You remember monster back, Tenneby? You remember hearing about that position? Monster back was sort of like a guy, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Could you Google it? Google monster back. Was that? I don't even remember who the very first monster back was, but it was a position defensively. I think it was a linebacker spot, and maybe you bounced around. What does it say?
When I Google monster back, it just shows a bunch of bodybuilders' physiques from the back.
Oh, because that's not what I'm looking for.
Monster back in football, maybe.
Yeah, because I thought monster back was sort of like what Metellus does, sort of, kind of. It moves all around, plays a lot of different spots.
Typically refers to a defensive player, often a safety, who plays a hybrid role, sometimes dropping a linebacker, depth to cover the tight end, or slot receiver, or to provide support against the run.
That's kind of Josh Metellus.
Also known as a rover back.
Yeah, Rover back. Red Rover sent Josh Metellus right over. So Metellus is sort of kind of that, right? Because if you'll remember, we talked about this. There was a note that I think it was out last year, but I'd forgotten about it. But like how many different positions and how many snaps he had at different positions. You know, linebacker, defensive back, cornerback, safety, on the line. He played a lot of different spots, and so he's valuable. And did I see that he did get signed to an extension? Right?
Tell us, yes.
Yeah, he did, and because he was, remember. The one guy kind of standing there waving his hand, go, "What about me, guys? What about me?" And so he was what do they call it? A hold-in? Did he also have a migraine or toothache or something?
I miss holdouts. I don't like the hold-in thing.
He had, I think he had like a migraine or a toothache or something. Earache. No, earache was Hawkinson. Right?
I think he actually had an ankle.
He had an ankle. Yeah.
And they were saying afterwards that it legitimately was an ankle. He wasn't just.
Okay. I like when I think you got to be more creative than just say, I mean, the ear infection, was that Hawkinson?
Yes.
That was a good one. That's different. I would like to have toothache or maybe a ruptured spleen would be another good one that you could throw in there too. So, and And then, I don't
What about vocal maintenance day?
Yeah, well, PA's taken plenty of those. I would say, Teneby, there's nothing on that depth chart that's surprising, right? That was basically what we expected all along. You look at their backups, the names are also recognized. Sometimes when you just see the same names, you almost kind of equate good player, and I think some of our backups are, but, we see what happens. You probably really are only as good as the depth of your roster because every team is going to suffer their fair share of injuries, and the season-ending ones are the ones that'll get you. Like Lines with Hutch last year. You lose him for the year. What do you do then? He's gone. He ain't coming back until this year. But Vikings seem to be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, there's going to be zero surprises on the starters when it comes to the depth chart.
Correct.
I think some of the interesting stuff is some of your backup positions, specifically a wide receiver. When you have Jordan Addison's going to miss the first 3 games. I think Justin Jefferson will be okay, but you never know if that hamstring lingers on. So kind of your backup wide receiver battle. I think Jalen Naylor is pretty locked in at number 3, but I think they have Lucky Jackson at number 4, and Rondale Moore is kind of the question mark because he's number 1 for punt returner.
Okay,
but kind of in that 5, 6, 7 range for wide receiver. So he's a guy drafted in the second round out of Purdue. Has had some moments, but a lot of injuries in the NFL, and it's just kind of a different type of player than any other receiver they have. The other one, I guess, just the fact that it's had Donovan Jackson at left guard.
Yeah,
I think when he was drafted, it was, will he be competing for that spot? They've pretty much anointed him.
Yes,
that spot on the offensive line.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, if he told you, but Rosen had his eyes on Rondale back when he played in Purdue. He was watching him even back.
I'm sure he did.
Not many of us were. We had no idea. It was hard to keep your eyes on him. He was only 5'7", so he would get lost among the bigger players. But Rosen, of course, knew who he was.
He knows everything. Like you could ask him, Rosen, how have the Mets fared against the Diamondbacks this year? And he would know what that season series was.
Well, not everybody knows that, but he knows the scores.
Yeah.
Remember when he was doing yesterday I made the bet with him, that the Brewers would get to the NLCS, and he goes, yeah, but just wait till they play teams like the Dodgers and the Phillies. Now, I'll readily admit I had no idea what the
Of course.
But I get a text message.
Nobody does.
I got a text message from, a listener did, because I get a text message from him, and he gave me the Brewers are 6-0 against the Dodgers this year and 3-0 against the Phils. So I start reading the scores, and Rose goes, I know the scores. Well, no, you don't. Why are you saying you know this? Nobody knows the scores unless you look. There's not a person.
The manager for the Brewers.
The guys playing in the games don't know what the scores were. They go, yeah, we beat the Dodgers by 1, was it? Was it 6-5, 7-6? I don't recall what it was. But Rosen knows those scores. So there you go. There's Peek at the Purple. Brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. They're looking for help. And if you're looking for electrical work, go to them. If you're looking to work as an electrician and you're an apprentice or a journeyman electrician, affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. They're shockingly affordable. More controversial Vikings news. Other side of the break here on the Common Man program of the Fan.
Minneapolis, it's time to put on your baggy sweatshirt and get ready to laugh. Comedy icon Adam Sandler is bringing his You're My Best Friend tour to the XL Energy Center on October 22nd. By the way, it won't be called that on October 22nd. From Happy Gilmore to The Wedding Singer, he's back with brand new jokes, classic bits, and maybe even a song or two. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Get the full details now at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 past here on the Common Man program. Text messages accepted at the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line 64686. They're coming in. We've broached a number of topics today, and so I'm getting text messages regarding all of them. The most popular would be chopsticks and peas. Tenebee's wife is right again. AI says etiquette-wise, the proper use to eat peas is with a fork and a knife for assistance. Of course, the text messenger points out the easiest way would be to use a large straw, which I tend to agree because that's why they call it a pea shooter. Have you ever heard of a pea shooter? So it's the same thing. It's just the opposite of a straw. A straw you suck on, like if you're going to have let's say you wanted to have an ice cold Diet Coke, I would go with medium ice. When you go to a fast food restaurant, do you put a little bit of ice in? Medium amount of ice? Do you do light ice, medium ice, or heavy ice?
Definitely not heavy ice.
Okay.
I don't like it being watered down.
Right.
So I would say light ice.
Oh, you're a light ice guy.
Yeah.
See, I don't like light ice because I think the ice melts too quickly that way. See, it melts too quickly in the soda pop. I'm more of a medium ice guy. Plus, I like to crunch on ice afterwards. So I'm a medium ice guy. I know there's a lot of people like light ice. I'm more of a medium ice guy. Here's another text message that came in. Tennessee must have thought chopsticks meant him using his golf club when he swings at the ball. Whoa. I do kind of like that one. Here was another one that says, chopsticks were invented in ancient China. While the exact inventor is unknown, the earliest known chopsticks date back to the Shang dynasty. Not the Bang Shang Lang dynasty, but the Shang dynasty. Initially used as cooking utensils, they became popular for eating around 500 AD and eventually spread to other parts of Asia. Also, Deuce, instead of working, he's listening to the show.
Wow.
He points out that Confucius, a vegetarian, believed that sharp utensils like knives could evoke thoughts of violence and slaughter, thus promoting the use of chopsticks as a more peaceful alternative. You could also starve to death that way also. This one says, some cultures just use their fingers. They probably wonder what's the point of a fork. And I guess you're probably right. Now, I was talking to Kel Sauce the other day, and she told me that Meat Sauce just recently learned to walk upright and eat with a fork. That's just recent for him. So some real Meat Sauce.
He learned from Louis, I think.
I think he learned from.
He saw Louis do it.
Now, how about this one? This one says, Ethiopian food you eat by picking it up with the bread. Well, how do you do that? Do you slide it underneath?
It depends what.
I guess if you have butter on it, you just kind of use it almost like a
you can pinch on it
like
with the bread.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. I guess. Here's one. The proper way to eat peas with a fork is to slightly mash them before taking a forkful so they don't roll off. Why didn't I think of that? But then
it's harder to slide under it, though, after you mash it.
Well, yeah, but it's just like mashed potatoes. You slide under that as well. I think I kind of like that idea, though. Then that's what you see that like at old folks' home. You got your cheese stuff like that. You have to mash all your food. So I don't know if I want to do that. Here's one. Chopsticks actually provide a better eating texture and slower eating. Yeah, they would. It would take you a while to get through your food because I think that when it comes to my pace of eating food, I think I'm probably right in the middle. I know people that eat really fast. And, sometimes when you're on the run, you have to if you've got some place to go. Like my lunch sometimes can take the entire 1 o'clock hour. You've seen me. I'll start eating when Little B comes in, and we're still in the middle of program password, and I'm still eating my food. So sometimes I take a while. Are you a fast eater?
I would say I'm a fast eater, yeah.
How about this? At home, do you have... Now, my guess are most of your meals, because your children are in ages... remind me what the ages range
10, 8, 5.
10, 8, 5. Does the family eat dinner at home together all the time, or now that there's activities with baseball and such like that, is it...
Activities have definitely put a damper on it, because now it just turns into, all right, we're going to the baseball field, here's some sandwiches.
Okay, right.
The amount of sandwiches we had this summer.
Let me ask, because here was where I was getting to. Like, let's say the 5 of you were done eating, and let's say you finish first. Do you stay at the table till everyone's done, or do you go, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go sit down and watch TV or read something? Because I think you're supposed to stay.
You're supposed to stay.
Yeah.
Well, the issue we have is Leo, the oldest, is the fastest eater on the planet.
Okay.
And then he will get done eating, and then he wants to go play something. And then Ingrid and Samson will not ever fully eat their plate because they see Leo having fun and they want to go have fun. So it's just kind of we do need to get him to stay at the table more.
just got off work and was elated and excited to listen to the Common Man, so I turn on KFAN and I hear talk about chopsticks and fortunes. I heard there was controversy, and you're certainly right. No one battles topics like these, and we don't. We truly don't. There are no other people that like to do this. So there's your there are your updates on what was I saying? Oh, your updates on chopsticks and how do you eat your peas? I stumbled across another one of those list stories, Tenneby, from CBS Sports. They've put a list together of well, let's do this one instead. We'll do the list one later. This is a smaller list. 8 NFL teams that need preseason the most. Bears, Browns, Steelers among clubs with key questions to answer. For instance, with the Falcons, will Michael Penix Jr. build enough momentum to gain legitimate internal and external trust as the Falcons' new full-time starting quarterback? How will Kirk Cousins' ongoing presence as Penix's backup play out in preseason action? And how might his performance change what's left of his trade market? And does Raheem Morris's defense, which now features a pair of rookie edge rushers in Jalon Walker and James Pierce Jr., have enough talent to make a sizable leap? These are the questions that need to be answered in Atlanta during preseason football. How about your Chicago Bears? Can quarterback Caleb Williams, who is perhaps best known for his backyard-like freestyling, settle into Ben Johnson's offense before the real games begin? Will Johnson will get the discipline and attention to detail he's looking for from Williams' top weapons, including Rome Odunze and rookie Luther Burden III? And can returning veterans like Montez Sweat and Tremaine Edmonds show game day comfort inside new defensive coordinator Dennis Allen's system? These are pressing questions that will keep Bears fans awake during the entire preseason. But Minnesota's also on this list as well, Tenneby.
Really?
Yes. Key questions for the Minnesota Vikings. Is J.J. McCarthy, the new starting quarterback, capable of moving the chains against a live pass rush after an offseason program dominated by the Vikings defense? And that's the question that we did talk about. I think O'Connell addressed it, because so far, the breathless reporting by those at Fish Wrap, East West, ESPN, Seifert's in Town, Athletic, it seems like in most of these practice sessions where you've got 11 on 11, you got offense versus defense, it's almost like Purple People Eaters revisited, right? It seems like the defense is basically dominated in all these situations. And how will it be when the Vikings get into a real game and maybe with a team? I mean, look, however you want to rank the Vikings defense, I suppose there are those out there like the Paul Allen Project that think the Vikings might have the best defense in pro football. I don't know where everybody would rank them. I would certainly think most people with the personnel that they have, the additions they made, and with B-Flow having a aggressive but not a reckless defense, would have them ranked in the top third of the National Football League. Would you agree?
Yes.
So while it certainly can be, because I was having fun with you and Rosen and others just about how I'd be a little worried about J.J. McCarthy, but while I don't really think it's a cause for concern, but you'd like to see him perform better. But I think a lot of that does say I don't think there are going to be some defenses they face that are as good as the Vikings or better, but there are going to be a lot of defenses they face that aren't going to be able to do what B-Flow is able to do, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, in B-Flow, obviously that defense was good last year, especially forcing turnovers. They're probably going to be better this year,
yeah.
Right? Like we don't. It'd be great to have J.J. McCarthy jump on the scene and look like he's the elite quarterback, franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. But you've heard other analysts say it, like you can just get middle of the road play out of the quarterback, and your defense alone is going to probably win you some football games this year.
Here's another. Can Coach Kevin O'Connell find reason to trust his backup situation under center, with both Sam Howell and Brett Rippon producing mixed results this summer. Do you think he can find reason, Tenneby, to trust his backup situation?
I have no idea.
I don't either. And what I'll say is, and I would say this about
I haven't heard like rave reviews out of Howell.
I would say this about any team. For most of the 32 teams in the league, if you got to go to your backup quarterback for an extended period of time, it's going to be a long season, right? It's hard to find 32 quality starting quarterbacks in the league, right? We've gone over the list. You got your 5 or 6 that are the elites, the Mahomeses and the Allens and the Lamar Jacksons and a handful of others, and Burrow. And then you got that next list, right? And I don't know, you put whatever quarterbacks you want to put in that list. Then after that, there's some teams that you look at their starting quarterback and go, man, that's going to be a long season for that club, right?
New Orleans Saints.
So, right. So if you've got to get to your backup quarterback, it's not going to matter much anyways. If it's just for a series, a half, a game or two, yeah, you obviously you want somebody that you think he's not going to be as good as your starter, but he can at least carry, he can help the team win games and not be more of a detriment to the club.
He won't win you games, but hopefully doesn't lose them for you.
That's exactly right. And then the final question, which of the club's new cornerbacks, including Jeff Barracuda Okuda and Isaiah Rodgers, will emerge as a clear day one starter for defensive coordinator Brian Flores? I think Rodgers is the guy, don't you?
He's on the depth chart as starting corner.
Well, and what I think I saw a piece, and I was going to get to it yesterday, I think it was an Alec Lewis piece out of the Athletic, but he said that there were quotes from O'Connell, and and again, it was a very positive spin on Jeff Okuda, okay, and that they think they found a role for him. He's had a great camp, blah blah blah, and maybe he has, but it's what we've talked about recently. We talk about it a lot, where teams, regardless of the sport, regardless of the city, at the beginning of the season when they're going through their training camps or their spring training, or they're going through their NBA and the NHL are playing their preseason games, we always hear a lot of hope being sold, right? Jeff Okuda was the 3rd pick overall out of Ohio State for the Kitties, and he didn't play there very long. He left. Are the Vikings his 3rd or 4th team? He's only been in the league like 3-4 years. So he hasn't.
He went to Detroit, then somewhere else, then Houston.
Yeah. So he certainly hasn't provided the kind of play that you would expect out of a 3rd pick overall. And the other teams obviously parted ways with him as well. That doesn't mean that he can't contribute and can't turn things around. I think I shouldn't admit this working at the All Sports station, but I just skimmed the story, but it talked about he was real cerebral and he's a thinking man's player and this kind of thing. And I hope so, because, being a dyed-in-the-wool Kitties fan, when they drafted Okuda at 3rd overall, I thought, well, this guy must be able to play. And then Deuce and I started singing, won't ya, Jeff Okuda, to the Barracuda song by heart, right? But it didn't work out that way at all. He struggled in Detroit mightily, and he hasn't done much since then. But and again, so is he really having a great camp? Do they have a place for him? They say it. I got to see it though. We got to see him in action, not playing against, our offense, but playing against an offense that's playing for real. So
it is bizarre, and maybe this goes back to #faith. Previous defensive coordinators, if a Jeff Okuda came in here, I'd be like, here's a guy who they're just taking a flyer on. But you do tend to think that B-Flow is almost the defensive version of the quarterback whisperer in KOC, that he has the ability to take guys and elevate them, right? Because last year he's got equity. Andrew Van Ginkel was basically a rotation player in Miami. And he's a Pro Bowler last year, was he not? Mm-hmm. Blake Cashman has kind of had a little bit of a journeyman career early in his career, going to place to place to place. He looked great last year. It was Ivan Pace that B-Flow kind of identified as an undrafted free agent, did he not? Even the corners they had last year. Metellus has been great with B-Flow. So because of that, because of the equity B-Flow has, I just now assume, hey, Rodgers and Okuda are going to be pretty good.
Okay.
And I shouldn't do that. You shouldn't just have that #faith.
Do you think he's defensive back whisperer?
I think he's just defense whisperer.
So anybody
not necessarily cornerbacks.
Yeah. So pretty much anybody they bring in, they'll turn to gold. Maybe they will.
Other than maybe young players like Dallas Turner.
He's very. He is certainly highly regarded. Logan from Alameda here. Paul Allen says they have some 46 to the Vikings defense, and they are as good or even better than the 85 Bears.
I know.
Did he really say that?
I thought I heard him like a week or two ago going over the 85 Bears and like drawing comparisons.
He didn't really do that, did he? I mean, time will tell. But there's a reason everybody knows the phrase 85 Bears, right? You don't say 76 Lions, 42 Browns, right? You just don't. You say 85 Bears because that defense was so good. They may be the best defense ever assembled.
Them are the Ravens in the early 2000s.
And we're making comparisons here because of, I guess, what we've seen on paper and at practice. I'm with you.
Plus, I like our defense. They don't have the big star power the Chicago Bears had. Mike Singletary, Richard Dent, the Fridge.
They certainly don't. As a matter of fact, I guess this is a good segue to the other list story that I found. CBS Sports has put together top NFL players at each defensive position. And I'll tell you right now, I don't see any Vikings on this list at all as individuals. In the interior defensive line, they say Dexter Lawrence is the best in the business.
He's pretty good.
Chris Jones at number 2. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Cam Hayward, Steelers, number 3. Madubuike, he plays for the Ravens. He's at number 4. Jalen Carter, Eagles, number 5. Leonard Williams, Seahawks at 6. Followed by Vita Vea with the Buccaneers. Zach Allen with the Bronx. DeForest Buckner with the Colts at 9. Jeffrey Simmons with the Titans. So according now and again, it's just a group of writers' opinions for CBS Sports. They don't have one Minnesota Viking listed as a top 10 in the interior defensive line. You go to the edge. Myles Garrett's ranked as number 1. Would you agree with that, Teneby?
Should be up there, yes.
Myles Garrett at 1. Micah Parsons at number 2. TJ Watt at number 3. Max Crosby at 4. Aiden Hutchinson at 5. Nick Bosa 6. Will Anderson Jr. at 7. Trey Hendrickson at 8. Jared Verse at 9. Daniil Hunter, former Viking, at number 10. So there is not an edge rusher on the Vikings, at least according to this. Again, this is one media organization's opinion. Maybe it's even one guy. They have no Vikings there.
By the way, on Micah Parsons, I don't know what it would take to what you'd have to give up for him. I'd be interested if I was the Vikings. And I get they're already strong at that position. I would package Van Ginkel or Grenard and throw a couple other things on top of it. I think he would, because he would be that star power, obviously, that they need. And I think under Beeflo, he would absolutely flourish.
Well, I saw a story that I was going to get to a little bit later as well. There was a story about Micah Parsons to the Rams, and
Aaron Donald would come out of retirement.
Aaron Donald said he would come out of retirement if that happened. Now think about
those two and Jared Verse.
Yeah, and I think Aaron Donald's probably got something left, even though he's been out. Right? I mean, that would be.
I'm sure he's
linebacker Fred Warner tend to be
your guy.
He's my favorite linebacker in pro football. He's ranked at number 1. Smith for the Ravens is number 2. Zach Bond, is that how you say it? Eagles. Nick Bolton with the Chiefs. Commanders got Frankie Luvu. Quincy Williams at 6. Greenlaw at 7. Levante David at 8. Tremaine Edmonds at 9. Demarion Overshone with the Cowboys at 10. Then your defensive back, same thing. Surtain, Stingley, Gardner, McDuffie, Gonzalez, Ward, Johnson, Murphy, Witherspoon, and Mitchell. Safety, Hamilton, Branch for the Lions. McKinney at 3 from the Packers. Kirby Joseph with the Lions. So they say the Lions have 2 of the top 4 safeties in all the National Football League. James at 5. Antoine Winfield Jr. at 6. Jesse Bates from the Falcons at 3. C.J. Gardner-Johnson of the Texans at 8. Buda Baker, Cards at 9. Minka Fitzpatrick with the Dolphins at 10. So there is not, at any of those positions, there's not one Minnesota Viking ranked in the top 10. But what's that old saying about the sum of the whole of the sum of the parts of the whole and the donut, whatever it is, that if you have quality players at all, and you know what, you could make a case for a Viking or two probably in this list, but if you have quality players at all those positions and you have the right chemistry and system, and you have a good defensive coordinator. And let's also say a really good offense can help a defense make them better, right? You know, your offense is on the field a lot, putting up a lot of points, makes it more predictable what the other team's going to do. They're going to throw a lot, so your defense can be better by an offense. But so with B-Flow's system and with the players that we have, I'm kind of thinking 85 Bears with this Vikings defense. Well,
85 Bears didn't have any top 10 players at those positions, did they?
Oh, well, there's that. I think you can see some 85 Bears in this Vikings club. I really, truly do.
I would even just go one further and say the 85 Bears will be forgotten after the season because it'll be 25 Vikings.
Says PA did not say they were as good as 85 Bears. He just said there were some similar elements between the two. Of course there are.
And there's similar elements between my golf swing and Adam Scott's golf swing.
Yeah, there are. You both are right-handed. You both draw the club back and then finish. Yeah. We'll pause 5-3-4 top of the hour. What you got, Tenneby?
Did the Twins find their next slugger?
Got you.